Alright guys, welcome back. We are playing Higurashi When They Cry. Chapter 5, Meakashi. Let me get my notes open. Last time, well, Shion had quite the conversation with Rena about the curse and Satoshi and how it's affecting him and all this weird shit. I mean, it's not, I don't believe in the curse, right? It's not really the curse, but I'll call it that, right? The much more sophisticated name is, of course, the crazy shit that makes you go crazy. Obviously, that's, much different, right? And also, just the whole relationship between Shion and Satoshi, which is really... She certainly has some thoughts about Sadako, which it's just depressing, because it says so much about her, right? It has been a little bit. I was sick, but it is good to be back. I think I'm all locked in. I kind of skimmed through those past two chapters again to make sure I'm all good, and we're going to school, right? We're going to Hinamizawa school, so Theon can check up on the situation with Satoshi, of course. So yeah, I we know where this is headed. We know where this is headed, and it's gonna be rough. So let's see. Oh, we're just here right now. Right. For a moment, I forgot that the class president was me. You, I, you gotta do better than that.
委員長も少し寝不足みたいですね。最近は寝苦しい夜が続きます。でも、しっかりと睡眠はとるように。
Oh yeah, I bet they don't have air conditioning, right? Like, I cannot sleep when it's hot, like, at all. I don't know how they survive, because Japan gets really hot, right? Like, I mean, especially in Hinamizawa, Keiichi loves to talk about the heat. I'm not sure this place can be called a school, because there are so many different age groups. It's like a kindergarten and an elementary school blended together. Since I'd already heard about what this place was like, I didn't feel that uncomfortable. It wasn't too difficult to act like me on here. Yeah. There's Satoshi. As Sis told me, Satoshi-kun looked exhausted. I said hi to him, but he ignored me. Since I knew what he'd been going through, his pain looked apparent to me. I was interested in another person in this classroom. Sadako, I'm sure. Yeah, Sadako, Satoshi-kun's little sister. Oh, yeah. She looked as worn out as Satoshi-kun, emotionless, like an abandoned doll. And yet, I feel like your empathy isn't really gonna extend to her as much, right? Everybody in this room was aware of their circumstances, but no one could do anything for them. So they just acted as though nothing was wrong. They are powerless. Mion will only let me have this one day. If I slacked off even a little bit, today would be over with quickly. I had to figure out what I should do in this limited time. I should probably talk to Satoshi-kun. About what? Anything goes. Cheer him up, sympathize with him, anything will do. More than anything, I just wanted to chat with him. However, Sis had told me. But, I mean, what's scary is, Shion thinks the root of the problem is Sadako, right? Because of, her, because of her relationship with Mion, right? It's very, very telling, right? So what is what is her approach going to be in terms of trying to fix the problem, right? Because just sympathizing or cheering up Satoshi isn't going to work if she thinks that the root of the problem is Sadako, right? So I'm concerned. However, Sis had told me. She said Satoshi-kun didn't communicate much with her lately, and had distanced himself from her. I figured I shouldn't talk to him too casually. I wanted to, but maybe it was better to leave him alone. Is Satoshi ever going to learn that this is actually Shion and not Mion, by the way? I really wonder at this point. I needed to keep Sis's warnings in mind, but instead, I decided to ignore them. Can't resist, right? I looked for Satoshi-kun during lunch break. He was walking as if looking for a place where he could be alone. I caught him in the hallway.
Satoshi-kun!
He turned around, startled by my voice. His facial expression surprised me. He was scowling, clearly a sign of rejection, yeah, but I couldn't hesitate. I'd lose my only chance if I did.
Genki?
He gave me a look as if saying, do I look fine to you? Yeah, it's like the way it's unspoken only in the classroom, right? Like they talked about that, how everyone just pretends like nothing's going on. It's like, what's even the point in talking about it, can't do anything about it, right? I never expected to see an expression like that on his face. But again, it's from Shion's perspective, the interesting thing is, she thinks something can be done about it. It's just Sadako needs to toughen up, right? essentially, it needs to do the same thing that Shion has done, like, for Mion, right? I felt like my heart was being torn into pieces. Did I read that line? I never expected to see an expression like that on his face. As I looked down, he spoke to me. I felt a little glad, but the next thing he said changed that.
元気だよ。
Oh,
他に用は
yeah.
ないなら行くよ。昼休みは一人になりたいんだ。
Hmm.
そっか。バイトが大変なんだよね。疲れてるから一人になって休みたいもんね。
It's a little bit more than
今日もなん
that,
でしょ
but sure.
今日はどこで
This had found several jobs for him. He worked at a few different places. He was helping out when necessary at any of the shops Mion introduced him to. As a result, he constantly had to do different tasks in a different environment almost every time. On top of that, he requested high-paying jobs from Mion because he wanted a large sum of money as soon as possible. In other words, he chose to mostly do manual labor. He was exhausted every day because he wasn't that physically strong.
どこでもいいだろう。それに
God.
僕がどこで働くか。ミ
Ah,
オンnaら知ってることじゃないのかい
man. Mion did help him get the job. Yet Sachi-kun didn't look thankful for that opportunity. Sorry, I should like laugh at it, but yeah, it's so depressing. Like, Jesus Christ. Man. This wasn't like him at all. It made me feel sad.
そうだよね。ごめん。
要はそれで終わりかい
He sounded so harsh. Why was he being like that? Would he ever stroke my head again? I was just thinking about, like, Theon in this relationship. Is she, like, viewing this relationship with Sachi in, like, a selfish way? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, has she... like, I guess she feels bad for him, right? But does it all come back to this, where she just wants someone to stroke her head like this, you know what I mean? But I don't know, maybe that's just kind of how all relationships work. I can't really decide what I think about her thoughts about him, right? Because there is the weird thing where, like, she sees him, like, as Mion in relation to Sadako. I don't really know how you could relate that to her feelings about him, like, romantically. I don't know. I couldn't help my tears. They flowed onto my cheeks. Sachi-kun looked confused for a moment, but then he frowned again.
ごめん。
Hmm.
監督がさ、また練習に来てほしいなって言ってたよ。
Because again, I think... No, here, I think this is an important thing to think about with this, right? Is she views his circumstances as, like, an inevitability, right? Like, I don't think she even thinks about the fact that he could die, that the abuse is the real problem, right? That's kind of what that whole point that talk she had with the coach was, right? Where she blamed it all on Sadako. Just like the way she views her circumstances, like the treatment that her family has on her, which is, like, terrible, right? She doesn't fight against it at all, right? It's easier to accept it as, like, an inevitability. So she views Satoshi's situation, being abused, as, like, the same kind of thing, right? So that isn't the focus, right? I guess you don't have to say she's viewing their relationship in a selfish way, because of course she doesn't think about his abuse, like, actively like that, because that would require her to, like, view her own situation in, like, a more critical way, which she wants to avoid doing, right?
伝言。
So I don't think it comes from her, like, being, like, callous or selfish exactly in any way, right?
監督にはもうチームは辞めたいって伝えたはずだよ。戻る気はないし。
Yeah.
たまにはさ、パッと体を動かして汗を流すのもいいと思うんだよ。ほら、スポーツっていろいろと。
興味ない。
Did she say anything to him? I don't know. I didn't know why he was being so hostile towards me. Why did he hate me so much? I was left bewildered. I don't think it's that.
なんで？どうして？違
バイトで忙しいから。めんどくさい。
うよ。
Oh.
なんで私がここまで嫌われなくちゃならないの？
自分の胸に聞けばいいじゃないか。
Oh, wow.
自分の胸に？何を？私が何をしたの？わかんないよ、サトシくん。
I couldn't control my emotions any longer. Streaks of tears ran down my cheeks. Satoshi-kun gave me a hateful glare and walked away without saying another word. And God, it's so weird because, like, she is pretending to be Mion right now. Like, his relationship with her, like, doesn't actually exist because she's been pretending to be Mion the whole time. So it's, like, so... Ah, God, it's like this way that Mion has consumed this even, you know what I mean? Like, it's not Mion's fault, right? But... I couldn't even stop him. If I tried, he'd hurt me again with another cutting remark. I wonder why, though. Is it something... I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't bear that. So I just watched him walk away. I was gonna say, when we learned in Chapter 3 about them, like, having called, like, the, you know, Child Protective Services, essentially, and everything ended up getting worse, right? But no, that was Sadako who actually called then, right? Or was that only the first time? Like, years ago when she was really young? I'm pretty sure that was her. I doubt I wrote it down, unfortunately. I don't know. Or if it's just something Mion has done, or some way he views Mion. I wiped my tears, and went back to the classroom. I heard somebody crying from inside. What's going on? I looked around the room to see. It was Sadako. I saw her bento box on the floor. I asked one of her classmates what happened, and it seemed that Sadako had bumped into somebody's shoulder when she stood up to go wash the box out. Oh, and she probably reacted very badly. Yeah, that was all. But Sadako was crying, as if afraid she was going to be chided badly. Yeah. What happened was very minor. She could just pick up the bento box and things would be fine. It looked like the lid came a little loose, but it was definitely fixable. She didn't have to cry like that. Yet Sadako started begging through her tears. Ugh. How does Shion see that, right? How does Shion see this, right? It's like, she is being denied this affection from Satoshi that she wants so badly. Here's Sadako crying for it, and Sadako gets it, right? Maybe not right now, because Satoshi just left, like in general, you know? And it's also like, you know, Shion has her whole thing about self-reliance and, like, being, like, her own, you know, trying to grow up so fast, and, like, be an adult and be mature and all of this, you know? Because she hasn't, it's impossible for her to be supported by her family, because the way they treat her, right? So we're seeing Sadako reaching out to her brother like this, that's just, like, unimaginable to her. Like, she's going to see it in a very negative way, even beyond just, like, the jealousy of her getting attention from Satoshi, right? Oh, God. Because of what happened with Satoshi-kun, I couldn't suppress my emotions very well. So instead, they exploded. Oh, no. I stormed up to Sadako while elbowing her classmates aside. I grabbed her by the head. Oh, Jesus Christ. Then threw her into the wall. Right. God, I'm all stuffed up still, I'm sorry. Sadako screamed. She didn't seem to understand what had happened. Yeah. She was shedding tears and shivering. She must be wondering why I did that. Why? Sadako cried for her brother's help again, and so I grabbed her head and threw her again. Sadako stumbled and crashed into a desk. The desk fell and the contents of the drawer scattered about. Sadako didn't even stand up. She just crouched and trembled while looking up at me. Yeah. If you weren't like that, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to suffer. Don't you get it? She just wants her to be like her. That's what I wanted to say, but I was too angry to utter another word. I picked up a bunch of textbooks from the floor and threw them at her face. Right. Nothing's gonna change. Yeah, I knew she was gonna say that. Yeah. Because she herself gave up so long ago, right? And she thinks Sadako should do the same. Oh, God. Okay. Can, like, Rena do something? Someone, please stop her. Her desperate cries only increased my irritation.
泣けばいいと思うな。サトシ君にすがれば済むと思うな。
Gotta...
甘えるんじゃない。お前さえいなければ。お前さえいなければ。
I kept on throwing things at her. Sadako curled up to protect herself and cried even harder. Can someone, please tackle Shion to the floor right now? Or is Satoshi gonna come back? No. Okay, thank you, Rika. Jesus Christ. At that point, a girl with long hair ran up and huddled over her. I knew who that was. Rika Furude. One of Sadako's only friends.
サトコをいじめないでなのです。サトコはかわいそうなのです。いじめてはダメなのです。かわいそうだから何をしても許されると思ってる？かわいそうだからサトシ君に寄りかかってもいいわけ？
Yeah, that's how she...
甘やかしてるんじゃないよ。こいつがどこまでも甘えてるから、サトシ君が辛い思いをしなくちゃならないんだ。ダメなのです。
Wait, let me read that again. Okay.
サトコをいじめちゃダメなのです。
Rika also became the target of my anger.
私はね。
Yeah, exactly. That's how she views it. That's how she views this, right? It's a lesson she herself thinks she had to learn, right? To just give up and to, yeah, I mean. Oh. God. I grabbed a chair and lifted it over my head. Right. It wouldn't hurt only a little if I threw this thing at them. Rika tightly closed her eyes and covered Sadako with her body. And that's probably just gonna make her even more mad that there's another person trying to trick Sadako, right? It's like another person that, like, through Sadako's, like, selfishness in her mind is gonna get hurt, right? I didn't care what the consequences would be. I didn't care if I hurt them. Thank you, Rena. Rena returned to the classroom and shouted at me. Then, Sachi-kun rushed in while pushing Rena aside. Yeah. Oh, God. Seeming to have grasped the situation immediately, he charged straight at me. Until my body had hit the locker, I didn't understand what had happened. There was a loud crashing noise. I'd left a dent in it. I crouched there in pain. Ah, God. Like, I mean, it's awful, right? Obviously, what she's doing is, like, insane and terrible, right? Like, obviously, right? But I guess just from my perspective, it's very understandable, like, not like, I'm not, like, justifying her actions, obviously, right? I'm just saying Shion herself is also a victim of, like, constant emotional abuse that has led her to this point, right? She's obviously not... God, sorry. She's obviously not handling it well, right? I'm not saying this is good for her to be doing this, or that it's, like, something that can be excused in any way, right? I'm just saying, like, she's a victim of horrible emotional abuse her entire life, and that's where this comes from. She's also, like, a kid, right? Like, it's not... I mean, you know, she's not... she is also an abuse victim. She is just better... She has been better at bottling it up and hiding it, right? So it's not as... like, you feel bad for Sadako. She's the victim here. Like, of course, obviously, right? It's just, I'm not going to say this means Shion is, like, a terrible person or anything, obviously, right? It all says a lot about the way she views the situation. And, like, I mean, again, I don't want to minimize all the horrible shit she just did to Sadako. But, like, in a sense, it's like, imagine... This is essentially how she would want to treat, like, herself, right? Like, this is how she, like... If she didn't just roll over and accept the Sonozakis having treated her so horribly forever and accept her place as the inferior to Mion and all of this, you know, she would view herself as, like, Sadako, right? That's where this all comes from, you know? So, I mean... Yeah. I guess I'm trying to think now, it's like, now that Satoshi, you know, stopping her from hurting Sadako, I'm trying to think if that... Like, with the way she views the situation, if that will have some kind of deeper effect on her? I don't know. Sadako pushed Rika aside, jumped at her brother, and started crying again. Yeah, go ahead and try and explain it, Shion, yeah. Is she gonna argue against that? Oh, that was very, yeah. Sachi-kun shouted at me while clutching his sister. He looked fierce.
どういうことって
You just what? You just what?
私は
You just what?
何をしたよ
I know, and God, I wish he would think about that, right? I wish he would, but it would be so hard. It would be so hard to break through, right? Because again, that's what it all comes down to, is that if she can understand the reality of this situation, how horrible what she just did to Sadako is, and that Sadako's situation is unfair for her to view her in this way, like, obviously, right? Then you would think that would mean a lot about, like, her and her stance on, like, her relationship with Mion and the Sonozakis, right?
僕たちが何をしたよなんでいつもいじめられなきゃならないんだよ
Nice, yeah. God.
どうしてだよ
He released Sadako, rushed up to me, grabbing me by the neck. Oh,
さ
Jesus.
っきサトシ君は私に自分の胸に聞けって言ったよねならサトコの胸に聞いてみりゃいいじゃない
What do you mean?
何を
サトシ君だって
Oh,
自分
God.
で認めてるんでしょ
But like, he feels guilty for, like, feeling that at all, I assume, right? Even though it is an insane amount of pressure to be on him, right? Like, here, I have to blow my nose. Okay. Like, he feels guilty for feeling that she is, like, a burden on him at all, right? Like, so her saying that that's not, like, what's her next line gonna be, right? Like,
サトコがあんたに
yeah, just to blame her for everything?
サトシ君の重荷になってるんでしょ
God, it's like, and it just makes me think more about the Shion and Mion dynamic between them, then, right? Like, Mion certainly tried for some amount of time, right? Like, Mion tried for some amount of time to, like, have Shion not be the outcast forever, right? I assume, for one, it's just Shion accepting it so much, right? It's not, like, Mion's fault for not, like, protecting Shion enough or anything, right? It's just Shion accepting it like this just led to the situation being where it is. So in a sense, it's like, if Shion is able to make Satoshi view the situation like this and have Satoshi give up and stop protecting Sadako, then that will, like, reinforce that her situation with Mion is, like, correct, I guess, or, like, there's nothing that she could do about it, you know? Because, like, again, it's like this all goes back to the way that she views her relationship with Mion and, like, the abuse that she suffers, right?
サトコがもっとしっかりしてれば
But the difference
サトシ
is,
君がこんなに大変な思いをすることなんてない
yeah, right, because Shion wants to think that it's her being strong. She wants to think that the reason the situation is how it is with her family, with Mion, is because it's her being strong, right? So she thinks Sadako just needs to be stronger, you know? Instead of thinking, like, that Mion should have done more to protect her, or just thinking the situation in general is unfair and just despairing at it, right?
そいつが全ての元凶なの
Yeah. Because Satochi's not going to give up, right? And it's like, if Satoshi never gives up, if she fails at convincing him that Sadako's a burden, which she does, right? Then what does that say about her relationship with Mion, right? And, like, you know, again, it's not that it's Mion's fault, it's just that the situation is maybe not as okay as she thinks it is. as okay as she wants to tell herself that it is. And that she's not just being strong, right? I don't believe what I said was wrong. Exactly, yeah. But after hearing it, Satoshi-kun went berserk. I can't blame you.
こいついい加減なこと言うんじゃない
Oh. Satoshi-kun grabbed me by my hair and threw me to the wall, just like I did to Sadako. However, I wasn't going to back down. I no longer had any control over my emotions at all. Yeah, it's so deep-seated inside of her, right? Like, she is... It would be impossible to change her mind, right? Like...
あんたがそうやって際限なく甘やかすから、そいつはいつまで経ってもあんたにすがってばかりなんだよ
God, is that what she feels?
お前に
Mion.
僕たちの何がわかる何がわかるってんだよ
God, his voice.
父さんや母さんを
Oh.
村ぐるみで追い詰めて
Oh. Right.
そして今度は僕たちか
Okay, no, that makes sense, yeah.
その崎家のやり方なんだろ
Okay, right. No, that makes sense why he would not like the Sonozakis in that way, right? Because, of course, the their parents were the ones that were like were like high up in the pro-dam movement or whatever. They're almost like the poster family of it, you know, because they lived in Hinamizawa and they wanted the dam so badly, right? And the Sonozakis were, of course, a big part of the anti-dam movement, right? So, yeah. And of course, from Sadachi's perspective, like, I assume he doesn't give a fuck about the dam, right? It's about his treatment and his parents and all of that, right? Yeah.
どこまでも村の裏切り者をいじめ抜く。そんなに楽しいかよ。弱い者いじめがそんなに楽しいかよ。もうやめて。
Oh god, yeah. Ah, that was Rena's voice. She stepped in, looking as fierce as a demon.
サトシ君、もうやめてあげて。
Rena's the one person who could, like, defuse this in a way, I guess, right? She can be scarier than both of them if she really tries.
みーちゃんに悪気はなかった。
Oh, like... I actually agree, right? Again, what she just did was terrible, right? But I actually agree that in her mind, she thinks what she's doing is good. Which is insane, right? That's crazy, right? It's not just because Shion's like a crazy person. I mean, you know, it comes from like she's been abused and it's like her acceptance of her abuse has led her to this, right? But, yeah.
サトシ君の力になってあげたくて、その気持ちがちょっとずれて空回りしちゃっただけ。
I don't know if that's gonna be enough, Rita. Like, that's...
ね。
I don't know if that's okay. Okay, maybe. Sachi-kun looked like he wanted to say something, but chose not to.
みーちゃんももうやめて。みーちゃんが誰よりもサトシ君のことを心配してるのは知ってる。だけれど、こんなやり方はそれの解決にはならない。
Yeah.
そんなのちょっと落ち着いて考えればわかることだよね。
And Sachi-kun didn't say anything. I kept quiet too.
ほら、さとこちゃん
God, how do Mion and Sadako's relationship, how does it ever get fixed after this? Because Sadako never knows this was actually Shion, right? And like, God, I have no fucking idea. Or, God, I don't know. Man, fuck. Because this always happens, right? Like, for sure. I mean, this is before, like, Kichi shows up, as far as we know, that things actually, like, start changing, right? In every timeline, all of this stuff has always happened, so this has always happened every time, right?
お弁当箱を落としたくらいで泣くことはないよ。ね。
Not that simple, unfortunately.
さとこ、僕がお弁当箱を拾ってあげますよ。
God. Rika started picking up the bento box while its owner continued to cry. And, like, knowing, of course...
片付けを手伝ってくれる？
To completely derail this to Rika for a second, like, knowing that Rika experiences this every time, right? Because this, like, always happens too, right? As far as we know. I wonder what Rika was thinking when fucking Teppei showed up again in Chapter 3, right? It's like she has to go through this horrible shit with her best friend being tortured every time like this. And then Teppei showed up again in Chapter 3, like, God.
もうすぐ先生がカレー菜園から戻ってくる頃だよ。これでもう喧嘩は終わったから先生には余計なことは言わない。いいね。
The classmates looked at each other and nodded, then started picking up the stuff on the floor.
はい。サトシ君もみーちゃんも仲直りの握手。
I guess.
ほら。ごめん。こんなつもりじゃなかったのに。
I don't think she actually understands it all, though, right? Like, what? I mean, I think she understands that she hurt Satoshi, and I think that's what she feels bad about. But I don't think she has a deeper understanding at all of, like, anything, right? Tears started to roll down my cheeks again.
僕も
Okay.
悪か
God,
った。
he's so sweet, isn't he?
僕たちがいじめられてるのは
I...
大人の都合
True,
で
right. True.
ミオンとは何も関係ないって
Just like, yeah,
知って
I
るは
mean,
ずなのに。
of course, just like how they have nothing to do with their parents. Mion and Shion have nothing to do with their parents either, right? Like what the Sonozakis actually do, you know?
ごめん。
さあ、みーちゃんは次
Oh,
に
God.
さとこちゃんに謝る。
Sure, go for it.
はい。
Of course you don't. Yeah. I was fine with apologizing to Sachi-kun, but I didn't want to apologize to her. Yeah, because it's not like she actually understands, right? But the situation wouldn't be settled otherwise, so I reluctantly apologized. Sadako nodded, looking discouraged. After that, Rena let me go. My head ached, so I held it with both hands. What was that? What did I do? I didn't want to use this precious time to fight. Sis had warned me. Sis told me that I shouldn't talk to Sachi-kun just like that. What did I come here for? I shouldn't have come here if I knew what was going to happen. Stupid, you're stupid, Shion. I was overcome by emotions because I was so worried about Sachi-kun. It just shows how, like, hard it is for her to keep this all bottled up at all times, right? It's like, it really is like a very, it's a very, I don't know. It's a facade, I guess, in a way, but it's a difficult to maintain facade, like the way she acts normally day to day, right? It's always, I mean, it's just been like the things that she's been thinking and saying in her head, like, this whole time. It's like I don't know. It's hard to keep it up, right? This is the reality of her, like, mental state, I guess, you know? I was overcome by emotions because I was so worried about Sachi-kun. When did things go wrong? Were they wrong from the beginning? I got into a fight with Sachi-kun. This was totally the opposite of what I wanted. I regretted it. I hated myself for it. I couldn't blame myself enough. My world had been torn apart. I wish the sky would fall and kill me. Yeah, gonna be rough to ever... I mean, I assume now, after that, Sachi's never gonna learn about Shion, right? That this is actually Shion, not Mion, right? I mean, maybe, I guess. I guess we know there's the phone call. We know there's the phone call of Satoshi telling Shion to, like, look after Sadako and all of that, right? But I wonder if he knows he was talking to Shion in that moment. Again, assuming that actually was Shion that Keiichi was talking to on the phone in Chapter 3, because I think it was. Because it's Shion that had the relationship with Satoshi, right? Sis sounded both amazed and confused. What do you tell her? No kidding. Yeah. Sis tried to say something, but she stopped in the middle. After listening to a few complaints, I started telling her about everything that happened today. Sis had to pretend that the trouble I caused today was her responsibility, which must be very taxing for her. And I guess, and I think, with the dynamic of their relationship, kind of makes sense that Mion wouldn't make a big deal out of what Shion did. I think Mion would never do that. I think Mion, like, at least with the way their relationship is right now, I think things change somehow later on, right? But with the way their relationship is right now, I don't think Mion would at all want to, like, make Shion feel bad. Just because, like, Mion obviously still feels bad about the situation that Shion is in, right? And that kind of overwhelms everything else, right? Oh, right, yeah. Because she's doing festival preparation. Right, of course she would accept that. Of course she would accept that, right? Sis had been sympathetic, but maybe I pushed her too far this time. Of course she'd be hesitant to trade spots, considering what I did today. The atmosphere felt awkward, so we were both silent for a while. What would she do? That was a reasonable question. I wasn't prepared to answer, though. If I had a chance to go if I had a chance to go to the school, once again, and see Sachi-kun, what would I do? Would I apologize to him about today? I don't think that would work. That might even upset him again, no matter how hard I tried. I don't know. Okay. Here's something that he was saying. It was the Sonozaki family who had been harassing his. It would only be natural for him to hold a grudge against us, except it seems like it must have developed, like, recently, right? Because he was fine with talking to you when you were Mion before, right? So did something recently happen to make it worse, right? But why was he expressing that now? Yeah, exactly. I've been a Sonozaki to him all along. Sachi-kun stroked my head, even though he knew I was Mion Sonozaki.
率直なところ、サトシ君は園崎家を恨んでるんだよね。だと思う。
But what changed, right? It was our family that initiated the persecution of the Hojo family, making them into scapegoats. Sure, even after the dam conflict, it wasn't easy for the Hojo family to live in Hinamizawa. Given all of that, it's not surprising that Satoshi-kun hates us. The Sonozaki family, who put his family in a devastating
で
situation.
もさ、だったらなんでなの？なんで今頃になってなの？なんで
Oh,
今
music.
頃になってこうなる
What's this one called? We haven't heard this one, have we? Maybe we have. I mean, it has like the same, you know.
の？それならいっそ。
I'm just thinking from her perspective, it's just like another thing that I guess it's not Mion, but it's just the Sonozakis in general. It's like another thing that's been like taken away from her in a way by the Sonozakis, like in a sense, right? It's like she could continue to have this relationship with him if he didn't see her as a Sonozaki, right? Of course, I mean, even beyond that, it's like she's always had to be Mion for him. She's not even been able to be herself, right? It's just perfectly like represents in a way like the way that it has consumed her completely. Like the Sonozakis, right? The way she's let herself be consumed by it, right? By not fighting against it, you know? Not that, I don't know what she could do, right? But... if he had rejected me in the first place, it'd be so much easier, right? I wouldn't have wanted to get close to him. My tears wet my cheeks. I didn't bother to wipe them. It's only natural for him to hold a grudge against the Sonozakis. There's nothing unusual about it. You should too, rather. Why has he been treating me like a friend? I knew how stupid this question was. Oh, mature. It's because he was mature, huh? And like what? I guess he's just reaching like, because of it's been getting so much worse, he's just reaching like an emotional breaking point, kind of similar to like what Shion has been perhaps, and that's just the only reason. Like nothing new has really developed, it's just been his, you know, harder to hold it in, I guess, right? Because he himself knows it's unfair to, like, blame them for it, right? But it would be hard, right? Mature. God, but, like, I just... yeah. Because if Satoshi's mature, then, like, what does that mean? You know what, like... he'd been treating me as a friend because he was mature? But now that he'd become stressed, mentally and physically, he's decided to reject me? No matter how hard I thought about it, I couldn't find anything to fault him with. If there's somebody to blame, it'd be somebody I'd never accused before. Oh, interesting. Not him. Yeah, well, it's not, I mean, it was just kind of a trickle-down effect onto them, right?
サトシ君が賛成していたわけじゃないでしょ。なんで一家丸ごといじめようって話になったの？どうしてよ。
Mion couldn't say anything in return. Actually, it wasn't at all hard to guess the reason. The hag didn't give any specific order to harass the Hojo family. She just thought the Hojo family was getting in the way. The people around her noticed what was bothering her and took steps to get rid of it. Though, of course, she must have known how influential her own words were. She didn't just think it. She gave what she must have known would be interpreted as an order. She's the one to blame for initiating the attack on the Hojo family.
前にお姉はフルデの神主さんのことを輪を乱すのは大人じゃないみたいなことを言いましたよね。つまりこれもそういうわけ。村中が団結しなきゃならない時に異を唱える北条家は大人じゃなかったと。
I'm just trying to figure out like what Shion would want to think of herself as mature, right? Of course, right?
だから制裁する必要があったと。そういうわけなんでしょ。
Mion couldn't say anything in return, meaning that my accusation was the truth.
なら制裁は北条の親だけで十分じゃない。本家の拷問室にでも連れ込んで指の一本も跳ねてやったらいい。
What's so sad about this is she has all this righteous indignation about the treatment the Sonozakis are putting on the Hojos, right? On Satoshi, on his parents, on all of them, you know? But where's that for herself, right? She needs to, like, that's the only way she will ever be able to, like, be happy, I guess, I feel like, right? Is she has to have this kind of feeling, like, for herself, too, right? Like...
でもそこまでで十分でしょ。サトシ君は関係ない。サトシ君には何の関係もない。サトシ君が何をしたっていうの？ サトシ君に何の罪があるっていうの？答えてよ。
Nothing. You didn't do anything wrong either.
答えてよ、ミオ。
Right? That's just we're so close in a way. It's like she's recognizing the unfairness of this situation, right?
ミオ。
はい。ではよろしくお願いいたしますね。
Oh.
失礼いたします。
Okay. Mion suddenly changed her tone and hung up. Oh, someone must have been like there. She had to hang up. Yeah. Okay. She must have done that to escape from my questions. I was furious. Or that, I guess, right? Yeah. I started redialing the number. Then I remembered that we decided she'd hang up the phone after using that phrase when she saw the hag coming. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I doubted she actually saw the hag. But it was a rule. It was the rule, so I couldn't call back for a while. I went to the bathroom to wash my face and cool down. I turned the faucet. The water felt lukewarm. Not lukewarm. It didn't help me cool down at all. I'm disgusted by my own childishness. I just wanted to fill my void. I didn't care about him. Oh, interesting. Considering that, Satoshi-kun was very generous. But I don't know if I can forgive Sadako. That's a different story. Right, of course. Yeah. Huh. Oh, God. I love Shion so much. I was looking up at the ceiling with my arms and legs spread out. It's not that I wasn't getting hungry. I didn't live with my parents. I didn't live in the school dorm. That meant I had to cook something myself when I wanted to eat. I knew that, but I still didn't feel like getting up. It's gotta be... Yeah, it had been several days since I began this empty life. Yeah. It must be tomorrow. The Watanagashi festival, I mean. Oh. And this is the night she gets the call, right? I heard the doorbell ring. Obviously, also the night... Well, tomorrow night is the night Satoshi's gonna kill... You know. I heard the doorbell ringing. Wonder if it is... I ignored it at first, but it rung persistently. Kasai? Yeah. I started hearing knocking, alongside Kasai's rude voice.
Shion-san, いらっしゃるなら開けてください.
Please, someone who cares about you. Like, please, come on. I didn't ask him to. He must have known that I hadn't eaten enough and that I'd be feeling down lately.
やはり食事を取られていませんでしたか.
別にお腹が空いてるわけじゃないし。
yes, you are. But when Kasai put the food on the table, my stomach reacted in a very primitive way by making some noise.
ほら、お腹が鳴っている. 食べた方がいいですよ.
God, this is really this little like leitmotif, I guess. I was hungry, but I had no appetite. I mean, I did have an appetite, but I didn't have the energy to eat. Yet I'd feel bad wasting the food Kasai had brought. I just can't help but feel like this depressive attitude it's so easy for her to fall into. I just feel like it has to be related to just the way she's been taught to always like view herself, right? Like it just she has such a low view of her own self-worth, but it's like in this weird way where it's like she's not like aware of it, you know, or she doesn't think about it in that way, right? I picked up my chopsticks just to humor him.
最近はばあさんがマークしてるんじゃなかったの？私のとこなんかに来て大丈夫なわけ？
おりょうさんは綿流しの打ち合わせなどでお忙しく、しおんさんのことまでは最近は頭が回らないようでしたので。
Not the number one priority,
クリー
of
ムコロ
course.
ッケは好物ではありませんでしたか?
うん。おいしい。ありがとう。
While I nibbled on the food, Kasai read through the magazines I bought.
葛西は、うん。
I never talked to Kasai about something like this before. Since I've always believed myself superior to him psychologically. Right. I hesitated to show my weaknesses to him. Thank you, Shion, thank you.
そういう悩みも年頃にしておくのは悪いもんじゃありませんよ。
Ooh.
葛西、あんた全部知ってる？
I wonder how he's heard about it.
ミオンさんから
Oh,
少々
okay.
力になってほしいと頼まれました。
Yeah, of course.
お姉か。
心配しておられましたよ。ミオンさん。
What does she think about that, though? Without responding, I threw the last croquet in my mouth.
北条聡君の近況を知りたがっていると思いまして。少し情報を集めてきましたが、余計なお世話で
He's
した
not doing well, is he?
余計なお世話です。でも、せっかく集めてきた葛西の顔を立てるために、まあ一応聞いておきます。
Kasai chuckled, but stopped quickly as if thinking it rude.
北条哲平が家を出たらしいです。
Oh,
沖宮
really?
に
Okay.
実婚の関係の女性がいまして、
Interesting. He fled
そこへ
before.
転げ込んだようです。
Huh. I assumed he fled after their aunt was killed, because he was like afraid of the curse after that, right? Interesting.
てっぺい誰？ああ、サトシ君のおじか。
家には叔母の北条玉江と北条聡、
Tamae. We did not have her
聡
name
子
before,
の
did
3
we?
人となりました。
Tamae Hojo.
玉江は哲平が別の女性のところへ逃げたのだ
Oh,
と気
that's
づき、
probably makes it even
大層
worse.
機嫌を
Yeah.
悪くした
I
らしい
wonder
で
if
すね。
that kind of attitude that if it's gonna get much worse very quickly, and that's why Sachi kind of breaks, and you know.
ってことはあれだ。ますますおばの里子いびりが加速して、
Oh,
サトシ君
God.
もそれのとばっちりで、
Indirect
ますま
blows.
すに苦
Right.
労してるってことか。
I wonder how Kasai views like her thoughts on
サ
this,
トシ
you
君の
know?
方は分かりませんが、聡子さんの方は近所でも噂になるくらい決して良くはない状況です。
If Sadako looks miserable, that means Sachi-kun must be going through equally miserable torture.
そのおばってなんとかならないの？
Thank you
憎
for
き
saying
北
that
条
instead
家
of
のこだわりなわ
Sadako.
けだから、その崎本家で制裁しちゃおうって話にはなってないの？
She's also one of the remaining Hojos, after all. The uncle is gone, so why not the aunt?
園崎本家としては北条夫妻の事故死で一応のけじめがついたので、北条関連では一切手を出すなと言命が出ています。
Okay.
夫妻
I
の
guess
事故死を疑う
Kind of
警
makes
察が
sense.
北条家近辺を未だマークしているという噂がありますので、
Because I wonder if it's kind of just like the kidnapping, maybe, where it's like the Sonozakis themselves might not even know like what happened to the Hojo family, right? But if it had anything to do with them on their orders, right, they probably don't want to continue supporting any kind of harassment if it literally led to like these deaths like that, right? I think that might actually be going like too far in a way, right? They don't want just because of like this reason, right? It's attracting too much attention, you know.
事故死はお社様のたたりってことになってるからね。神罰が下ったんなら、それ以上は人間が下すまでもないってこと？
Right. Kasai put on a faint smile. Come to think of it, it is hard not to suspect the involvement of the Sonozaki family in all the incidents said to be Oyashiro-sama's curse. It is in a way, right? Yeah, of course. Somebody strives to get rid of the hag's concerns on the day of the Watanagashi festival. Furthermore, the Watanagashi festival is going to be held tomorrow. Would a curse strike again this year? If so, who will be the victim? And like, I like this as a theory, right? Just like this general idea that it's not like a specifically organized thing. It's like the vague, you know, the hag's concerns type deal. And that's what it's been every time, right? Because that's like the kind of weird, like mob mentality type thing, like unclear connection that I think makes sense for like the murders, because they are just kind of like weird and disconnected, right? I don't think this is actually it, right? I think all of, like, because of the murder that's going to happen this year, right, for example, has nothing to do with the hag's concerns, right? And like, I mean, obviously the one with Tamatake, that's Takano doing that, right? I mean, as far as we know, like, almost certainly, right? That has nothing to do with her, right? If so, who will be the victim? Now that I think about it, there were cases of multiple victims in the past. The first and third year, it was just one, but the second year, the victims were a couple. I wonder what she's going to think about it, right? Because obviously Keiichi was kind of going down the same line of thought when he was thinking about how, oh, it would be great if it's Tepe, right? I wonder if she would want it to be the aunt and Sadako, right? So it wouldn't be too strange if two people fell victim this year. It seems like a good time, if you say so. It's over. Right. Thank you, Shion. You never let me down. It'd be best for Sadako and her aunt to be the victims. Thank you. Of course. Naturally. That would be for the best, right? Sachi-kun would be freed from every source of his worries all at once. Exactly.
葛西、
God, and it's no wonder that in chapter 2 she says all that shit about Sadako being cursed, right? Because, like, she thinks it should have been Sadako instead of Satoshi, right? God.
今年のお社様のたたりの犠牲者は誰かってもう決まってる？
Oh, so much like Keiichi asking Mion.
決めるのはばあさん？ならお姉は明日の犠牲者はも
Exactly,
う知ってるって
yeah.
ことになるな。
mhm.
どうなの葛西？何か聞かされてる？
But even in her own like line of thinking about this, like, if she thinks it's just kind of the vague, like, you know, what the hag wants to do and someone just kind of goes out and does it, you know, it wouldn't be as simple as, or you just making a decision, you know, it would be more like wishy-washy than that, right?
シオンさん、私はその件については一切聞かされていません。
まあそりゃそうか。火災ごときの耳に本家の最高機密が入るわけもないか。
Right.
そういう
Trying
こ
to
とです。
goad him, and just in case he actually does know, like trying to goad him into saying it, right?
少なくとも私の関係する界隈ではそういう話は降りてきていません。ですが、ご存知の通り、本家は裏の世界の方々に通じます。私にはその一部を垣間見ることも叶いません。
Sure. Maybe I could try asking Sis about it, but she won't talk. She's strict about keeping promises, unlike me. If the hag told her to keep it a secret, she'd take it to the grave.
今年の綿流しでおばとさとこが消えちまえばいいのにな。
And again, it's just so... Because, like, in Shion's mind, if she actually started standing up for herself and, like, being like Sadako in a way, not, like, accepting her abuse, I guess. It doesn't have to be standing up for herself, but not just rolling over and accepting it. Then it's like she would be thinking this about herself, right? Like, that's where her mind is right now, right? Like, she would be thinking she would deserve to go missing, because she would be being, like, this burden and being this, you know... Ah, God.
葛西、私は憂慮したよ。
Oh, right, uh-huh.
気を利かせてくれると嬉しいんですけど。
シオンさん、ご冗談を。
No, you can... Come on, Kasai.
わーってるって。言ってみ
It'd
ただけ
make her feel so much better, right? Like, come on. I took a glimpse at Kasai. It didn't seem like he was actually going to do something to make my wish come true. Like, that would be insane, girl. Come on. I wasn't able to go to the village as myself. So I definitely wasn't going to the festival. I didn't care about that. Oh, interesting. Okay. Even so, I was interested in who was going to end up as the victim of the curse. I was curious if she was going to go to the festival or not, but I guess she, like, can't, right? I mean, if I just kept lying on this couch, playing hooky, somebody would fall victim in several hours. I had no clue why it had to happen every year. But I was certain that the hag was behind it. All the enemies from the dam conflict had been punished. Only the Hojo couple was left, since most of the other enemies had already gone. The cicadas were crying loudly outside. It made me feel hot. Why was it this hot and humid in June? If Oyoshiro-sama was actually punishing people, I'd pray for one thing. I prayed that the evil aunt would be punished, and I'd offer up Sadako as a sacrifice, right? Because that's what she would deserve, right? It's hot. God, I hate when it's hot. One day, I'll find out what it means for it to be hot, right? You know what I mean? Like, we've talked about it before, right? But one day, I'll have it all pieced together, I'm telling you. I don't think so. At this point, I don't think so. It's been referenced too many times. Too many times we've done these weird, like, temperature analogy things where it's hot or it's cold, and Keiichi has the cold liquid running through his body. He loves to talk about that. And I don't know. It represents something. It always represents something. Like, in these lines right here, like, reading these lines, I'm not insane for, like, knowing this means something, right? Like, it made me feel hot. Why was it this hot and humid in June? It's hot, right? What does that mean? What is this supposed to, like, communicate to me? The idea that it's hot, right? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. Fuck. When I woke up, Kasai had already gone. Looks like he cleaned the table and the surrounding room. He put my dirty laundry into the hamper in front of the washing machine, too. Being a girl of a sensitive age, I didn't want a man to clean my room. Well, I'd rather thank him than badmouth him. I looked at the clock. It was late afternoon. I had to go grocery shopping. There was nothing left in the fridge, and I'd be having just rice for dinner if I didn't go. At that moment, the phone rang. Oh. It must be Kasai, I thought. So if this is the phone call, from Satoshi... Oh, well, I should... Here, let's just see if it's Satoshi. I did hope it was him. He could have brought more food, so then I wouldn't have to go shopping. Well, I was just being lazy. I didn't feel like going out at all. But it wasn't Kasai on the phone.
おねえ。
Oh, okay.
そこ、どこ？本家じゃない？あ、うん。公衆電話からかけてる。
Oh, okay.
だから手短に話すよ。サトシから電話が来たんだよ。サトシくんが？ お姉に
多分私にじゃないと思う。シオンにだ
Okay,
と思う。
so I am stupid. So maybe I am stupid then. Okay, so no. He did call Mion. He did talk to Mion there. Maybe I'm just wrong then about it having been Shion that Keiichi was actually talking to in Chapter 3, right? Maybe I just made that up. Maybe that's just not true at all. Right? Maybe that actually just was... maybe that just was Mion. Right? Because this is just when Shion... yeah, because that, like, of course... Because, like, I guess the only thing I predicated that on was, like, the fact that it was Shion and Satoshi that actually had the relationship, but Satoshi never knew about that. And, like, how would Satoshi have called Shion anyway, right? So, yeah.
サトシは先日の教室での件を
Never mind,
謝り
I'm
たがってる
stupid.
みたいだった。だから
God, I keep...
その電話はシオンが受けた方がいいと思
Oh,
って。
I keep preempting these things. And I'm always wrong. I just keep second-guessing myself every time. Maybe I should just keep going, right?
サトシの電話は今ちょっと忙しいからすぐかけ直すって言って切ってあるの。だからシオンは
Oh,
今から私
fuck.
が言う電話番号に電話してあげて。
Sure.
わかった。
I was stunned for a second, but then recovered and wrote down the number on the back of a magazine.
ありがとう。すぐに電
Oh,
話します。
man.
そうしてあげて。サトシは最近すごく追い詰められてるの。私の声はもう届かないみたいだけど、シオンの声ならひょっとすると届くかもしれないって。何の根拠もなく。
Interesting. But, like, obviously from his perspective, they're the same person, right? Unless Mion's told him. She could have pretended to be me and handled this call. But she passed it over to
あり
me.
がとう。ミオン。
じゃあね、シオン。
Before she hung up, I put the handset down. Then after a second, I dialed the number in a flash. I'm really wondering now if the breaking point between Shion and Mion's relationship is going to be Satoshi being Onikakshi'd and Shion blaming Mion for it, right? I heard the dial tone 3 times, 4 times, and there he
工
was.
場です。
Oh god, he sounded like an adult. His voice sounded a bit tired too, but it definitely was the voice I loved. I got scared. I was scared that he might become sulky again if I mentioned my name. I couldn't open my mouth for a while.
の、
Oh,
サトシくんですよね。
さっきはごめん。もう時間は大丈夫なの？
That was the Satoshi-kun I knew. He didn't sound cold like the other day.
うん。全然平気です。
After that, he went silent. I felt the urge to start a conversation. It wasn't fair. He was the one who called in the first place. Then, he finally spoke.
先日は
Oh god,
ご
you
めん。
should not apologize at all. You should not be the one apologizing, right? You really shouldn't be. It's interesting in that sense how he blames himself so much in a situation like that. Shion blames herself, like, in a way, for, like, the abuse that she herself suffers. But it's also from, like, opposite positions, right? Because Satoshi is the one protecting Sadako. Shion is the one, like, not being protected by Mion, not through, like, Mion's fault, right? Girl, come
あ、
on.
私こそごめんなさいです。
ミオンは謝らなくていいよ。僕がどうかしてた。
Yeah, he still doesn't know it's Shion, of course. If this were a face-to-face conversation, he would be stroking my head. It was sad just talking to him over the phone.
僕は
Right, exactly. Yeah, and
追い込んだ奴らを
that's what it all comes back to, is the abuse.
絶対に許しはしない。
Obviously, the abuse is what's to blame, right? The abusers.
そいつらはでも決してミオンじゃなかったん
Yeah,
だ。
yeah.
だから僕は君にだけは謝ろうと思って。
うん。気にしないで。
Okay, I guess in a way it makes sense he wants to apologize for that specifically, right? Like, of course, right? Because, like, it's such, like, a personal thing for him, because he has been facing that same kind of, like, persecution because of his relationship with his parents, right? So, he doesn't want to, like, do that same thing to another person, right? Makes sense why that, like, get in his head so much. He would, like, want to apologize despite what Shion did, right?
私だってサトシくんのことをよく理解しようともせず無神経だった。
We apologized to each other a few times.
それよりサトシくん大丈夫？
Ah,
いろいろと大変なの
God,
に
you gotta stop asking that. You
サ
actually
ト
gotta
コの
stop
誕生
asking
日
that.
プレゼントのためにアルバイトまでして
Because that's just... he's never deja vu, unfortunately.
だいぶ追い詰められてるんじゃない？
Oh,
バイトはやめたよ。
yeah.
目標額のお金はなんとか貯められたみ
Is
た
it
いだから
really
ね。
just for a birthday present?
そうなんだ。ならもう体を無理させなくていいんですね。本当によかった。
I mean, Satsuki tried to say something, but he dropped it instead.
僕より
Yeah.
サトコの方が辛い。
And in a way, it's like, it is very mature of Satoshi, of course, to, like, take part of that burden onto himself, right? To recognize that Sadako, of course, has it worse than him. And for him to, like, want to protect her, right? Like, obviously, of course, that's mature, right? So in a sense, it's like, then what could you say? So then, is it immature? I mean, I guess from my definition of immature, it certainly is immature. Shion's perspective on this kind of thing, right? To just say that Satoshi should just ignore it, right? And just, you know? But I just wonder what she thinks about it, right? I just, obviously the idea of being mature means a lot to her. I don't think we really have a full grasp of, like, what exactly, right? It's very tied to, like, her whole, like, wanting to be self-sufficient apart from the Sonozakis, right?
サトコ、大変なことになっていますね。大丈夫なんですか？
Oh, no. Yeah, no, she isn't. He suddenly sounded upset. I'd messed up. And God, it's so frustrating because Shion isn't okay either, right? She's not alright either. But she thinks that Sadako should just become good at hiding it and accepting it like she does, right? I keep saying that, but, like, you know, it's so annoying because Shion, she could have such a revelation. She could have an epiphany, just like Keiichi when he realized he could kill Teppei, right? She could have such an epiphany. It would be so easy. But I guess it's not easy, right? That's the whole thing, because in a sense, it's like that's kind of the position that she must have started with, and that was, like, beaten out of her with time, right? That she learned to accept it, right? So it's not like she have an epiphany, something that she didn't realize before. No, she almost has to unlearn the way that she views herself, and by therefore views Sadako, right?
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
But she doesn't actually understand, right? I was so stupid, but her understanding of the situation doesn't go beyond that, right? Rather than just thinking, oh, I'm stupid, I shouldn't have said that, right? I've ruined this miraculous conversation with him. Exactly, yeah, she doesn't actually have a deeper understanding at all. Sachikun didn't respond to my apology, so I stopped apologizing.
あんなに誰が見てもわかるくらいに傷ついてボロボ
Oh,
ロで
his voice.
みんな見捨てた。
Yeah, your parents too, right?
どこ
I mean, obviously, it's
捨
like,
てた。
見捨てた
it's
つも
not
り
his
なんて。
parents' fault for dying, right? But it's like, you know what I mean, right? I tried to calm him down. I hated what I just said because of how hollow it sounded. I had no idea what to say next. I felt guilty. Sachikun was desperate to protect Sadako from their evil aunts. But I'd wished that Sadako would die tomorrow because of the curse. I was trampling on his desperate hope.
どこは
But, like, come on.
もう擦り切れる直
Think
前
about
だ
it more.
だから
So what? He cut himself off in the middle. Well, we know what, right? And went quiet for a moment. He must have been choosing his words carefully, yeah. Then he finally spoke. His words sounded hollow.
だからせめて
Oh, yeah, this is the call. Okay, yeah, this is the call. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Eh?
Because that's like the exact same thing Keiichi said.
遊ばせるって。
ほら明日は綿流しのお祭りじゃないか。聡子を祭りに連れ出してやってほしいんだ。
それは構わないけど、どうして？
聡子もいろいろと参ってる。
No, but why are you asking me,
た
right?
とえ一夜でも
The exact same
お前
conversation,
のいない
yeah.
ところで羽を伸ばせたならきっと喜ぶと思うんだ。
だからどうして？
どうしてって
It's not that I didn't understand why he wanted her taken to the festival. What I didn't understand was why he was asking me to do that. Was there any reason he couldn't take her there himself? I had a hunch that he might disappear, so I kept asking.
どうしてって
So I wonder...
何がだい
Hmm.
どうしてサトシ君が自分で連れて行ってあげないの？
He's got something to do. He fell silent. Satoshi-kun isn't good at lying or keeping secrets. It was clear that he wanted to hide something.
用事だよ
You just said you quit your job. You can't say that.
僕明日はちょっとバイトの関係で用事があって
He
どう
was
しても
lying.
祭りには行けないんだ
But he was also stubborn. He wouldn't admit it if I accused him.
ねえミオン明日の夜だけ
Oh, God.
サトコを頼めないかな
I wouldn't want to look after Sadako, even at Satoshi-kun's request. But I'm also glad that he's relying on
あ
me.
れだけの暴言をぶつけてそれを謝るついでにこんなことを頼むなんて悪いことだとは思ってるけど
So I wonder if she is gonna go to Watanagashi. But I mean, how would she be able to do that, right?
ミオンだけが頼りなんだ
God, he really, blamed himself for it, essentially. It's crazy. I didn't know what to say. I did know, though, that I wasn't going to turn down his request.
わかった。明日の晩だけ
Just for tomorrow. And he doesn't disappear right away, right? He doesn't disappear until Sadako's birthday, which is a few days after, right? We don't know exactly how long after Watanagashi it is, but... Huh.
できたら明日の晩だけじゃなくこれからもずっとがいいな
何言ってるんですか？そんなの嫌です。明日だけですからね。
He sounded as if he were going to disappear tomorrow. I didn't like the sound of that, so I intentionally sounded sulky. We talked about trivial stuff, just for a little while. When the conversation was almost over, Satoshi-kun asked something else.
ねえミオンこんなことを話すと
Ooh, what?
きっと精神的に病んでるって思われるんで
Something
本当
about...
は嫌なんだけど
どうしたんですか？
ミオンは
Something about...
信じないよね
Oh, the curse. The curse, right. Yeah. Hmm.
何をですか？
あほらお社様のたたり
サトシ君、何の話ですか？
I wonder how her thoughts on the curse are going to develop as we go, right? Like after this, after we know what's going to happen here, right?
確かほら村を捨てて逃げ出そうとするとたたるでしょ
That's the rule. Every kid in the village knows that.
そういうことになってましたね。どうしたんです？突然。村を捨てて逃げようとでもしてるんですか？
Though I was kidding. I wanted him to deny it. Well, I don't think he's planning on leaving, but
もうそんな気はな
yeah,
い
he
んだ
thinks it might happen anyway.
もう
He admitted that he had thought of it. I guess I just wonder, like, what is... I hope we finally get an answer about what actually happens to Satoshi, right? I guess Rona told me that much.
いいじゃないですか。もうそんな気がないのなら。
でもまだ許しても
Yeah.
らえないんだ
Oh, you're talking to Rona too much. Satoshi, oh god. Satoshi-kun tried to say something but hesitated. He was breathing so heavily. Was he sick?
具合悪いの？
I bet he's feeling someone behind him right now, if I had to guess.
ごめんそういうわけじゃないんだ
サトシ君は少し頑張りすぎたから、少し休んだ方がいいです。
He sounded distinctly more sickly from when this conversation had started. He breathed heavily when punctuating his words. Satoshi-kun repeated his question.
ミオン最初の質問をもう一度するよミオンはお社様のたたりって
I almost
存
wonder
在すると思うかい
if there's some kind of deeper meaning to this, like the same way when like Keiichi was going to Mion asking about the curse, you know? If Satoshi in some way thinks that Mion would also be responsible for it. But like Satoshi's experiencing such like seemingly like supernatural effects of it right now, right? Because I assume he's hallucinating, he's, you know, going through the crazy shit, right? So I don't think he would be viewing it in that way. What did he want me to say? Could I make him feel relieved with my answer? How should I respond? The answer was simple.
たたりなんてあるわけないじゃないですか。
I didn't know what was bothering him. but I wanted to make him feel better by laughing his worries away. Masashi-kun instead fell silent. Would my answer make him happy, or maybe sad? Or I wonder what that means to him, right? I wonder if he was hoping that his aunt would be affected by the curse, and it's like, this is the... Mion saying that there is no curse means that he's got to be the one to do it, right? I couldn't tell. One thing was certain. I didn't make him feel any better.
変なことを聞いてごめん。
ごめん。
I felt like I let him down, so I apologized in a rush.
たたりだろうと、この村の何者かの陰謀だろうと、僕は絶対に消えない。
Oh,
消されない。
such a Keiichi thing to say.
消えないよ。
消えないよ。サトコに
Oh,
あのぬいぐるみを買ってやるまではね。
yeah.
もうすぐお給料がもらえることになってる。
Oh, it's so sad that he thinks like buying that teddy bear. I just wonder what he thinks buying that teddy bear like means. You know what I mean? Like what? Obviously, he wants to do it to make Sadako happy, but it seems like from the vibe of this that in some way he's like placed some kind of great importance on it, right? This idea that it will somehow like what make up for what Sadako's going through in some way. You know what I mean?
その日までは絶対に消えない。
He chuckled. I knew he was trying to relieve me, but it worked the opposite way. He sounded as though he didn't care what would happen to him after he bought the teddy bear.
あ、おばさんが帰ってきたからもう切るよ。
Oh.
ミオン。
何？
Even though he wanted to hang up the phone because of his aunt coming back, Satoshi-kun took a breath to tell me something
サト
important.
コのこと
Oh,
頼むからね。
yeah. I should have said yes right away, but I still couldn't forgive Sadako. So I just kept quiet. Oh, doesn't even answer. Man.
変なこと頼んでごめんさ。
He was obviously disappointed. What had I done? I wanted to apologize. I wished I could, but it was too late. The dial tone left no doubt. Now that was depressing. Yeah. Okay. Ah, man. So I'm checking something real quick. Okay. Let's read the tip. A torn diary. We were having a lot of diaries. Is this going to be... Oh, good. The good start. What's this one called? Insanity. Kyoki. Right. Somebody whispered to me from behind. They told me that I was going to be the victim of the curse this year. So I'm going to disappear soon. There'll be nobody left to take care of Sadako. Right, yeah. Oh, so that's what really pushes him to do it, huh? That's what really pushes him to kill his aunt, I guess, right? It's the fact that if he's not around anymore, there'll be no one to protect him, to protect Sadako from their aunt, right? So of course he has to kill her. It's like, it's not like he thought him disappearing was gonna, like, follow after him killing their aunt. It's he thought, oh, I'm going to disappear, so I gotta hurry up and kill her, right? Somebody whispered to me from behind. They told me that I don't have much time. That I won't stay as myself for much longer. So I had to make the best of the days I had left. What could I leave for Sadako? She wanted that huge teddy bear. She wanted a peaceful life in which nobody would bully her. I whispered to the person at my back, oh, bestow your violent nature and formidable strength upon me. I want your peaceful minds filled with hatred. Great. Awesome. Really good. Really good. Okay, I think we're only doing one in this video. I'm so sorry. I know. How will you survive? But I'm just still stuffed up, and it's rough, unfortunately. I don't want to take... I mean, it's been like a week since my last video, so I don't want to, like, take even longer and try and be perfectly fine, because who knows if I will be unsick for, like, the rest of winter at this rate. But hey, at least this chapter was long. Pretty long, right? So... it's a good one, for sure. I love Shion, just, like, as a character, right? I feel so bad for her, right? Like, and I'm just curious. I'm very curious where we're going. How her... because, again, it's like her relationship with Mion obviously changes so much in the future, right? From when we actually get there, you know? Especially in Chapter 2, right? So there's going to be a breaking point for her. I just have to assume it's going to be Sashi's disappearance alongside her somehow breaking through all of these barriers she put in her own mind about, like, you know, she essentially just her eventually having that epiphany where she breaks it all down and she stops just accepting her place. And you know, yeah, obviously it's like I want to say of course that like she can do that without going insane. Right, like of course, right? But I don't know, I guess I guess we'll see. So yeah, I suppose that is it. So please, if you enjoy my videos, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.